This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium Free Talk. This Infinium Free Talk is entitled, Please Listen Carefully. Now, my MGTOW brothers, I came across this segment from Senator Josh Hawley just recently, and I'm going to play it, and I want you, my brothers, to please listen carefully to it. Afterwards, I will lend in some commentary as to what he is saying.
I want to focus tonight on the deconstruction of men, not because I think men are more important, but because I believe the attack on men has been the tip of the spear in the left's broader attack on America. And because this attack, the attack on men, is already far advanced. But even as I describe the danger, there is cause for hope. For while the left's assault on manhood has been sharp and prolonged, it has not yet succeeded. And we must make it our business as conservatives to see that it does not succeed. More than that, we must seek a revival of strong and healthy manhood in America. We need men who will shoulder responsibility. Men who will start and provide for families. Men who will enter the covenant of marriage and then honor it. We need men to raise up sons and daughters after them, to pass on the great truths of our history and our culture, to defend liberty, to share in the noble work of self-government. We need the kind of men who make republics possible. And it's not too much to say that our ability to get those kinds of men, those kinds of citizens, will determine the success of our long experiment in liberty. Let me just start by pressing home this point to you, that the left's attack on America leads directly to an attack on men. For years now, Democrats and other leftists have insisted that America is systemically oppressive and unjust. They've said it so much and so often, to them it's a truism. It's the very cornerstone of their worldview. Just listen to the President of the United States. Joe Biden has, as president, repeatedly decried America's systemic racism. His administration has loudly called for a new gender equity agenda to right the structural injustices of our society. His nominees have advocated critical race theory and training in equity for federal workers. This past week, the administration celebrated the introduction of an X gender marker on American passports. Did you see this? X meaning neither male nor female, just so you're keeping up. All of this points to how important the deconstructionist agenda is for Team Biden and for the American left. I mean, you think about it. Inflation may be rampant. Store shelves are bare. It costs $100 to fill up a minivan in America, but the administration will not be deterred from focusing on the important issues. They are laser focused on exposing just how bad America is. That's their top priority. Other prominent liberals have taken this the next step and identified America's many alleged woes, with men in particular. Take Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. White supremacy and patriarchy are linked in a lot of ways, she says, meaning that America's systemic racism is a systemic problem with men. Author John Stoltenberg writes that talking about healthy masculinity is like talking about healthy cancer. Professor Susanna Walters of Northeastern University says it seems logical to hate men unless they pledge to vote for feminist women only and don't run for office. Now, this line of thinking, I have to tell you, it's hardly new. As I'm sure you know, the critical theory of deconstruction runs back to mid-century intellectuals like Jacques Derrida and Herbert Marcuse, and farther back to the Frankfurt School of the 1930s, and back farther still to Marx. Nor is it new to blame men for society's ills. You know, Marcuse is particularly interesting in this regard. He was one of the leading lights of the 1960s counterculture. And he thought that Marx was right to call American society oppressive, but wrong, or to call Western society oppressive, but wrong to see that that oppression was principally economic. That was Marx's mistake. No, the really oppressive thing about American society, according to Marcuse, was culture. And while Marx pinned his hopes on the working class, the proletariat, working class men really in particular, Marcuse saw those same men as the problem. They were too culturally conservative, too hidebound, too traditional. Now Marcuse concluded that the revolution would only come from the well-educated elite who could see beyond mirages like gender and manhood. Which brings us back to today's American left. They have swallowed that theory whole, and they are repeating it from every platform where they have power, which is just about everywhere. University curricula abound with seminars on masculinity and its defects. To take just one example of the kind of thing that's on offer, consider Professor David Cohen of the Drexel Klein School of Law. Traditional masculinity, he says, has oppressed girls and women and limited the identity construction of all boys and men. Seminar at Williams College, which is called Performing Masculinity in Global Popular Culture, asks, why must masculinity be the purview of males at all? It's an important question. Answering that, by the way, will cost you $75,000 a year. You know, even our military academies are in on the act. West Point reportedly held mandatory events last year addressing gender norms, including toxic masculinity. One cadet said afterward, I'm being taught how not to be a man. And men are getting the message. They are leaving higher education in record numbers. I suspect you've seen the Wall Street Journal's recent reporting on this issue. Women now make up 60% of college students, men 40%. Experts predict a 2-to-1 ratio soon, sped along by the pandemic. But
well, my brothers, when I first heard this, I was somewhat excited because here was a senator of the U.S. government who was speaking out against womanism, speaking out against the deconstruction of the patriarchy, all those things. But my brothers, as I have said before, we have to be careful when it comes to things like this. We have to, again, look at and consider the layers that are going on. The initial thing that when I started to listen to this over and over again, I began to kind of cringe at what Harley was saying, because on face value, it seems that yes, he is calling men to be men, to come back. But what is he calling men back to? And in our view, as Red Pill and MGTOW men, he, to me, is calling us back to the slave pits of the feminist plantation state. Because again, he states that we need men. We need men to come back, to get married, to do all these things. But what is marriage to us, my brothers? Marriage, as we know it today, is nothing but entrapment for men. There is no benefit to marriage for men these days. And Senator Hawley did not state that. He just stated that we need men to come back. We need men to come back and rebuild the society. And that, my brothers, is when you listen and thinking about things in a hopeful manner, it sounds like a good thing, but in a lot of senses, that is not what we as red pill men who have gone through the red pill process and men who have adopted the MGTOW philosophy should be doing. Because the main structure of our efforts is to be free from the entrapment of marriage, the entrapment of being a wage slave. And that's the thing that I find most troubling, is that he is calling for men to come back to being, in essence, wage slaves, and in essence, slaves to the feminist plantation state, but he's saying nothing about changing the laws where men are not, quote unquote, divorce rate unfairly. And furthermore, he talks about the deconstruction of men. That's correct. That is going on. Yes, that's happening. But my brothers, again, there is a mixing of good bread with bad bread, so to speak. Again, because he skirts around the real issue. The real issue is the construct and the ideology of feminism, and what feminism is doing to men in general, what feminism is doing to this society, all these things. And yes, part of that is the deconstruction of men, the tearing down of men, and it's not just white men, it is all men. But again, deconstruction is one of the final points. The real issue is the stronghold that feminism has in this society today. And he goes on about the left, left-leaning people being mostly feminists. But my brothers, it is conservatives that can be feminists. It is left-leaning people. It is middle of the road. Women, again, of all types of political nature and understandings, can be feminists. As I cited to before, my brothers, I have issue with those New Waltz, those ones that are prominent, who actually come out to our communities, who actually begin to regurgitate the problems and the issues, and tell we men that this is how we resolve these issues. But they don't offer any type of resolution, like we as women will go before Congress and stand up against feminism. We as women will try to get laws submitted to the courts where men will no longer be thrown into jail for just smiling at a woman. All these types of things, my brothers. So again, it does not matter to me in terms of the political nature, left or right. Feminism is feminism, and it is entrenched in this society, and we now live in a feminist plantation state. So again, my brothers, I might be a little bit hard on Senator Hawley, but I just believe that on face value, yes, his words sound great and everything, but if you look at the layers, it is a clarion call for men to come back to the feminist plantation state. And, again, he goes against AOC, he goes against these various authors and these people that have come out against masculinity, men being men, and teaching fathers teaching men the boys how to be men, that type of thing. Yes, that's all correct, but the central problem that I see is that the underlying thing that's there, just like the lava that's under the volcanoes of La Palma right now, that lava is still there. That lava is still capable of erupting and coming out anywhere and destroying cities, destroying whatever's there. So just like that lava can do what it can do, that lava of feminism is still there. And that's what's so troubling. That's what's so upsetting to me when I hear these things. Like, again, on face value, when I first looked at this video, it was very surprising to me and very encouraging to me. But my inner MGTOW man said, listen to it again. And when I began to listen to it again, I began to be troubled by what was said. Because again, we as MGTOW men have done what we have done in order to be free. And we know in our hearts, in our minds, that marriage is nothing more than an entrapment which can ultimately destroy our lives. And for many of us, we have suffered through all types of shaming, all types of ostracism, all types of things. And we have been told, again, that we are wrong because we are going our own way. And so, in essence, what I'm saying, my brothers, Senator Hawley is right and then he's wrong. Because he's wrong because the main point is that, again, men are walking away because they know that's the only way they can be free. And I will say to this further that people like Hawley and the government, they know about MGTOW. They know about men going their own way because it is so prominent now. It is mainstream now. And there again, they know that marriage is a sham. These people in government, these people in churches, women, all of them, they know that marriage is a sham and it is a one-sided game where men lose. So again, my brothers, yes, we do need these things to be spoken out against, but my brothers, at this point, the time for words, the time for this is a problem and this is what's going on with men, that's over with. This is a time where the only thing that can really be under consideration, and it is great consideration because there is a contingent of men who I feel will never come back no matter what is said and done, even if legislation is passed to really put down feminism. There is a contingent of men that will never come back because they have had it. They have had it. But nevertheless, it is a time now for action and the time for words that is long past. Thoughts and opinions, my brothers. But in any case, this is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Free Talk. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.